That's one way of doing it. Now let's see the many other effective means of using the club as a combat weapon. In a hand weapon, the first thing to master is the correct ways of holding it. The simplest hold is the long hold. Grip the club as you would grip a tennis racket. The short grip has the index finger pointing along the club, which lays against the forearm. A very deceptive way to hold the club is with both hands. You can snap either end for a decisive and surprise blow. Let's assume the club is hooked onto your belt, and you want to use it in a hurry. Reach behind you with your right hand, keeping your palm out, and grab the club with the short grip. The forefinger is about an inch behind the point of the club. The long end runs along the forearm. The back reach is used in order to use your other hand as a guard. Now jab him in the stomach. When he doubles over, grab the club in both hands and bring it up under his chin, and knee him in the crotch. This will knock his head back, leaving his face unprotected. Bring the club down on the bridge of his nose. It is guaranteed to end his interest in life. Your interest in life can get a jolt from which it may never recover if you grab from the front. To do the most damage with the club held with the long grip, aim for vulnerable spots such as the knee. Wrist. Elbow. Base of neck. Bridge of nose. Crotch. Stomach. And throat. There's a hazard in holding the club the long way. It's possible for your opponent to grab it. A short grip makes it difficult for him. As there is very little of the club exposed, your opponent will come in much closer due to a false sense of security. This will be his biggest mistake. If he throws a right-handed punch, you can ward it off with your left and jab him in the midsection with the point of the club. If he throws a left-handed punch, you can ward that off with your club arm and follow through to the side of the head. The short grip may also be used in a whip-like action to such vulnerable spots as the knee, wrist, elbow, base of the neck, the bridge of the nose, crotch, stomach, and throat. Some fighters prove to be very unethical, like the guy who is always trying to kick you in the face. But our magic wand can take care of those mugs too. Cross your arms at the wrist with the club hand on top. This will block the kick. Put the club under his leg and grab the other end with your left hand. Stand up and flip him off his feet onto his stomach. From then on, the situation will look very promising. Curl your leg about his and sit on it. Then hit him on the back of the neck with your left hand and jab him on the side of the head with the club. This is one cure for kicking that even a TS slip can't beat. This hold is called the Japanese choke. Cross your arms with the club hand on top and pass the club in front of his neck as you quickly grab the other end with your left hand. Pull back with a jerk as you firmly plant your knee in the small of his back and throw him to the deck. Just to make sure he's got a survey, hit him between the eyes, knock out his teeth, smash his windpipe, crack his ribs, and club him in the crotch. Let's look at the choke hold again. Arms crossed at the wrist with the club hand on top. Pass the club around the front of his throat and quickly grab the other end with your left hand. Pull back with a jerk, your knee against the small of his back. If you break his back, don't worry, that's the idea. This next bit of mayhem is called the come-along. It's a choice between a broken arm or follow the leader. Come up behind anyone in need of such treatment with the club under your arm. Grab his wrist with your left hand and wrap it around the club. Bring your right hand up over his left and press down. Then move your left hand over the end of the club so he can't slip out of it. As few choose a broken arm, he'll come along. If that way becomes monotonous, you can vary it by putting the club between his arm and body. Grab his wrist with your left hand and pull up. Your wrist should be resting on top of the club. Lock the hold by putting your right hand over the end. This too is a magic formula for making him come along. You men who know wrestling understand the hammerlock. Here's a hammerlock to end all hammerlocks. Slide the club between his arm and body, turn your right hand palm out and grab his wrist. Then pull his arm up behind his back. You're right, it's a one-sided argument. Supposing he pulls a small knife on you? Well, you can take care of that too. By holding the club in the long grip, you can keep him at a distance. If he tries an overhead slash, remember the old chokehold. Cross your arms with the club hand on top. Grab the other end of the club with your left hand and pull him down to the deck. At the same time, knee him under the chin. Or grab the club in both hands, extending it over your head to parry the blow. Push him back and knee him in the crotch. If he tries to stab you in the stomach, stop the blow with a short grip club. Grab his wrist and move in with a jab to his throat and a knee to the crotch. If he tries an underhand slash, parry the blow with the club gripped in both hands. Then push him back and knee him in the crotch. A side sweep slash may also be countered by sucking in your stomach to avoid the blow and smashing his wrist with the blow from the short grip club. Grab his wrist and push him back as you jab him in the throat. If all this seems too complicated, you can go back to the long grip. He'll never be able to reach you with his short knife. You at least can break his wrist and move in from there. It is not the intention of the Marine Corps to send you into combat armed only with the club, but a man thoroughly trained for combat should know how to defend himself under any condition. No one can promise you that you'll never have to defend yourself with a club against a man armed with a bayonet. Can it be done? Well, you've seen it done. The question now is how. Let's watch them.